Hello and welcome to the Growing Green podcast. Your host, Jeremiah Jennings, is the owner of Growing Green Landscapes in Birmingham, Alabama, and has a passion for growing the entrepreneurship community for those who are young in business. Being a business owner isn't easy, especially in the early years, and that's why in this show we dive into a wide range of topics covering all the challenges small business owners deal with. Even if your company is generating $1 million or more, the stories from our great guest and Jeremiah's own firsthand experiences will propel your business forward. And now, here's your host, Jeremiah Jennings.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode today here on the Growing Green podcast. This is your host, Jeremiah Jennings, and I'm so excited to be coming to you today with another fresh new episode for your Wednesday, and this is going to be a really fun one. I'm excited for this. I say it's going to be fun. It's going to be probably kind of deep. It's going to be a lot of, I don't know that it's going to be very super upbeat and lively. We're going to do the best we can, but I think this is going to be one that you take a lot away from, and we try to encourage, we try to inspire, we try to push through, we try to go through all of that stuff. We try to just build you up. And that's what we want to do here. We want this to be a place of hey, you come here, you listen, you hang out, you get energized, you get encouraged, you get refreshed. And that is all good and great and fun, but that is just not the way of life 24/7. Unfortunately, there are bad things that come along in life, and there are bad things that happen. There are struggles, there are trials that go along with being a business owner. And that is the life we signed up for when we signed on the dotted line to become an entrepreneur. And that is something that you have to be okay with, and you have to just welcome that into your life. You can't get stressed. You can't let it ruin your life. And we're going to get into this today a little bit more. But before we get into that and get too deep, like I said, we do want to have a fun show. I want to share some more stories and things that we've got that we can get into today. But we have a returning guest of the show, Greyson Sawyer. Dude, how you doing tonight, man?
Doing good, man.
I am excited for this. I know life is crazy busy for y'all. Remind me where y'all are at. Y'all are in North Carolina, correct?
Yeah, we're in the kind of the foothills area. We're near Hickory, North Carolina.
I hear you. So out there in the country, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Yep.
Yeah, that's the mountain. The mountain have their own accent. The mountains have their own accent. It's funny. It's funny how it just different regions have their own and things like that. But Greyson Sawyer Landscaping. You were on the show. Was it a quip when we did that show? Remind me. Were we sitting around the fire when we did that?
Yes, I think that wasn't this past.
That was 21. Yeah, that was 21.
Yeah.
My goodness, that was a long time ago.
Yep.
Time has flown. Business is definitely in totally different spots for me and you. I'm excited to hear the update, man. I want to get into the update. Talk about what's going on in business. What are the good things? What's happening? How is business and life crushing it? And just moving forward. And then we'll kind of get into a little bit more of what we want to talk about today. Of just you're not alone. You do have to go through certain struggles and trials, and we'll get to that in a minute. But tell me the highs, man. What's happening in business and in life? Share with everybody else out there.
Yeah, man. We're doing good. We're running 2 crews. We got one maintenance crew that does all the maintenance every day, and then the install crew we do landscaping, hardscaping, a little bit of everything really. We do a little bit of light grading, drainage work, full service basically. We're rocking and rolling, doing good, having a good year overall. I'm trying to really kind of push the install crew to more and more of the hardscape stuff, and do kind of focus on that. We still like doing the other stuff. We do a lot of new construction work. We're in with a few builders and stuff like that. But I really like the hardscape side. We've gotten better and better at it, so we're getting obviously more and more profitable, getting efficient doing it. And so we've had some. For us, it's big. It's our decent size. Obviously, they're still small compared, but we do some. We've gotten bigger jobs this year than we've had in the past, so we're really liking that and trying to hone in on that. But it's been a good year overall. Bought some new equipment. Got a mini excavator, very first of the year. Got a dump truck a few months ago. So we've had some good moments, and we're still growing. And in the maintenance crew, I had a guy come back that used to work for me, and that's been a blessing because last year was a nightmare with the maintenance side. And he came back though, and he's running the show over there, and so that's going much better and kind of on autopilot pretty much. So everything's been good.
That's awesome, man. That is fantastic. When did you start the growth process of getting into 2 crews? You started off, so how did you start? Did you start off mowing?
Yeah. Back in high school, actually, I was just mowing a few on the side, and wasn't really expecting it to be a business, and it just kept going, and that's what happened. It became, I didn't even wasn't expecting to do that, and it just kind of grew on its own naturally, like, slowly, but got to where I was like, well, I guess, we'll see what we can do with this, because it's naturally just kind of going somewhere. So we made it something. But yeah, in high school we just started mowing, and then it took me a while to get into more of the landscape side, but started out kind of doing the mow and blow thing.
And when did you start looking at doing a second crew and things? How big did you get? What did that process look like, the transition? Because that is something I'd like to talk about for 3 minutes here, because a lot of guys are in that spot right now of when do I add another crew? When do I add just another employee? How did you navigate those waters, especially as you were trying to get into bigger landscape jobs and things like that, while also maintaining the mowing?
Yeah, back in 2019 and 2020, it was I started in 2017, and back in 2019, 2020, both of those seasons, we were doing. I was just one crew. I was doing a lot of mowing, and we were doing we were doing about 4 days a week, and then the other day or 2 days a week we would fit in the landscape jobs those days, and it was just 2020 we got really busy, and got to where we were backing up so far because we didn't have time to do the landscaping because of just mowing 4 days a week took so much time, and then so we were pushing, trying to get landscape work done on Fridays and Saturdays, and whenever we could, and it was just getting very backed up. And so by 2021, I could just tell that the amount of work coming in that I was really expecting to have enough for a crew to go full time in the install. And so we went. I actually just went full time, kind of expecting it just to do well. I just kind of took, I guess, a step of faith and went hard with it. I did kind of just plan to have some guys run the mow crew, and then I was gonna just kind of just see how things went for 21. But figured I would hire the guy, and I did, and it just went full tilt. We like I said, 2020 was so busy, and we stayed so far behind because of mowing. So I figured it would do okay, and it did. And thank the Lord for that. We just kind of took off, and we had a full schedule all year.
How have you been able to maintain profitability in that crew? First let me ask you this. What size crew were you running when you were out there with them mowing?
It was just me and a guy normally on the mow crew. We run mostly 2-man crews.
Okay, and y'all were doing everything in 4 days with you and one guy, mowing-wise. So when you decided to step out of that and go into the landscaping, did you hire one guy? Did you have to hire another guy? How did that work?
Yeah, some of it's a little fuzzy. I've had so many guys, but I've
so you've had pretty high turnover,
especially the last couple of years. Yeah, what it was is when it was me and a guy, he was really good. He was always with me, obviously that 2020, and so I made him crew leader of the maintenance side, and so when I did that, I hired another guy that would run with him. And then I ended up hiring another guy to work with me on the install side. So I did end up having to hire 2 guys. The
2 guys were able to maintain the productivity of you and one guy.
Yeah, they did really good actually. I was actually, I didn't really realize what I had at the time, but the guy that was with me, he really took pride in it and really, really tried hard. Obviously the owner's always going to kind of care the most for sure, but he really did take pride in it, did a really good job, and kind of tried to take care of them like they were, his property. So that made a huge difference. And I didn't realize what I had because he's not with me anymore. And when he left, which was before last season started, I won't get all into that, but the maintenance crew went way downhill last year. It was a mess, but and then the guy that I did hire to go with him was the guy that I actually mentioned that he came back recently because he left too, and he came back, and now he's running the show over there, and things are much better again. So, but yeah, no, those guys really carried it and did really well. They stayed up on efficiency and really did a good job.
How did you go about making sure that one thing stayed, like they kept things looking good, but then when you weren't there, when the customer started realizing that you weren't there, and if so the way that I'm going to tell you the way that I've seen it happen, I've tried to work myself out of the field a little bit more on the mowing side. And when the customer starts to realize that things are maybe something gets missed one time or maybe twice, something gets missed, and they started realizing you're not there. And even if something's perfect the next time, they realize that you're not there, so they're going to start looking and nitpicking for certain things. How did you handle that process of hey, I'm not there anymore. These guys are doing it. They're doing great. I mean, how did you the customer service side, the quality control, all of that, when you totally removed yourself from the mowing, was there anything that you did that was hey, I would do this again or I wouldn't do this again, or advice to somebody who's in that boat right now?
Yeah, actually, like I said, the year that I did that and let go of it and kind of handed it over to my foreman and the other guy, they, to be honest, I definitely had some more issues and some people saying stuff, a few, here and there. It wasn't like it was no problem for sure. But that year, like I said, I didn't realize what I had because I didn't get too many complaints that year. I did get some here and there, but it wasn't very bad. Those guys really they really put their heart into it, I guess. And they really did good. So I didn't have too many problems, but it was a pretty rude awakening after he left before last year. I had to hire new guys and it was complete opposite. So last year's really when I felt that, where it was just I was trying to let that crew run itself without me having to do a whole lot. I mean, I wanted to obviously do some quality control checks and just kind of check in with people and, still communicate with customers over the phone and that type of thing. But it went really rough last year. We went through a lot of guys on that crew trying to find the right people.
Did you end up losing many customers?
Yeah, we did. We lost quite a few last year, actually. I did communicate with the clients and told them, I apologize and told them, we just being real. Obviously, this podcast is going to be real, so it's not always going to be glorious and look all great. And just we lost quite a few customers. I think we had around 65, 70 mow clients, maybe a little more than that. I can't remember exactly, but we ended up losing probably over the course of the spring and summer. We probably lost about 15 accounts. It was pretty rough. Yeah. I was actually, because the install side is one that I'm still kind of over and on a lot. I was considering even maybe dropping maintenance because of how bad things are going. And I never did. And I was glad I didn't because I still want something like that because, if things do ever get a little slow, the maintenance is still there, and it's something that kind of just it's coming in. It's not like you have to sell a job for every mow. They're there, they're coming in. So, and it was just a rough year last year with the maintenance side, but so I felt a lot of that last year. Like I said before, when it was the other guys, that it wasn't near as bad. So it wasn't a real hard hit at the very beginning when I first let go of me being on the mow crew and splitting into two crews, which is really good. I'm sure that helped kind of propel us because I didn't have to pay so much attention to it. But I felt it for sure last year, and it was rough, but we made it, and we're still here, and we like I said, we're doing a lot better this year.
In all of that, so obviously you don't want to lose customers, but sometimes it's a good thing. Maybe not the way that it happened, but it's just you go through things and things happen. Would you change what happened? Would you change losing those customers? Have you picked up better ones because of it? Have you gotten to change your ideal customer? How has that worked out for you now that you kind of stuck through it and stayed strong?
Yeah, I think there were some good lessons learned. I don't think I think a lot of it was me. I needed to I needed to be a little more check in a little more and do that type of thing when I was just trying to just kind of let go of it for the most part. I think it's something that I learned a little bit of a lesson on, but I wouldn't say we gained a whole lot of different type customers or anything. We had some really good customers before, and some of the ones we lost were good customers. Some of them were really good clients, and they weren't really that hard to deal with. It was just, and there was a few that you always have those customers, but some of them were good customers. We just had a really rough year with some employees just not working out too well for us. So I don't know if I would necessarily change a whole lot on the customer side. We had some good ones. They just, they weren't very satisfied with how things were going. And I even told them, I don't blame you. I told them, I physically couldn't come out and mow them myself and be on the crew. And, I was trying hard and that I was doing all I could to communicate to my guys and went through a lot of different guys trying to get the right guys to do it. And it got a little better toward the end of last year. But it was just a rough year, but we stuck it out and I'm glad we did. And some of them still hung on with us and, that you can, they're actually, a lot of them have told me how grateful this year that they are for the, how much better it is. So the ones that stuck it out with us, I was really thankful for because just straight up, it was a rough year. And I didn't really blame any of the customers that wanted to leave because it was just, it was that bad. It was a rough situation.
Well, everybody's going to go through it at some point in their life, maybe not to that extent, but something's going to happen. Troubles are going to arise. And that's kind of what we wanted to get into today was this exact scenario. And this kind of leads into what we want to talk about perfectly of last year was tough for you on the mow side. Like that was a whole new challenge that presented itself. And now you know how to handle that maybe moving forward. But you're also having your own set of challenges right now in life and in business and just everything. So, dude, I want you to just take the show, take it wherever you want to the next 5 or 10 minutes. Talk about what's on your heart about the whole Instagram highlight reels and just what's going on, like on the back end of your business, the accidents that you've had, the things that have happened, and just like how you're actually pushing through and keeping going and just staying positive when everything feels like it's against you.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, the other day, obviously, I had to post the stories of a few mishaps we had, and I don't have a very big Instagram following at all, but the ones I do, I do have some younger guys on there and whatever, and I want to be real to those guys. So I'm not one of those ones that I have been in the past, I guess, just post all the projects and not really get on there and say anything. But I just want to be real, let guys know, like, hey, I'm not here to discourage you, but I also want to kind of let you know that it's not always what it looks like. It doesn't look like Instagram does in real life. If you look at the highlights from Instagram. So yeah, we've had several issues here lately, and it is discouraging. But try to keep your head up. I had a first thing that happened. We have our maintenance crew runs box trucks. We had an older box truck. I know you run a box truck as well. But we had an older box truck, and it's been good for a long time, but it blew the engine.
Oh, my goodness, you're kidding. That's what we were just talking about. Oh, my gosh. All right, we'll come back to that. Yeah. Keep going.
Yeah, it blew the engine back in, I think in May, so like early May. So like we, close to 2 months ago, I guess now, a month and a half, something like that. So, it was just a rough time for it to happen, but I had a backup truck that we weren't really using on the install side anymore because I bought the dump truck. And so we weren't really using it, and I hadn't sold it or anything, and I was wanting to keep it in case we went to 2 maintenance crews. So it worked out good, and so they are using that one. And then so that one's down, and I still have it. I'm gonna try to either get a new engine for it or rebuild it, and then either sell it or keep it. I'm not sure yet, but either way, that was a rough go. That was the maintenance rig, and now it's down, so that was a rough go. And then actually was thinking about buying a second box truck just because I knew that one was getting older. I was thinking about buying one even before that happened, and then went ahead and was just looking around and found another one that was used, but it was quite a bit newer. had some miles on it, but it was, it looked really strong. It was ran through it was ran by a company. It was a fleet truck. So, it had a lot of miles, but it was a lot of highway miles. I felt good about it, whatever, and bought it. And they ran it for a day, and it's having some issues. It's not running right. We don't know exactly what's wrong with it. We still haven't got it fixed yet. It's been having issues for several weeks. But they're still using the other truck. We have it's a Chevy 2500, and they're still using it. So it's all good. It's just that was another issue we had, and we still haven't got it resolved yet either. So we got 2 box trucks right now, and neither one are being used. So that's a rough situation. And then we recently I was actually bush hogging in the skid steer and got in a ditch and got too steep in a ditch and flipped it, and it actually got, oil goes everywhere when you flip one, and it got it got oil up in the piston and up, whatever the top end. And
so let me pause right there. Because I think this is actually some just real life operator value here. So talk to guys, what do you do in this situation? Because there's guys out here, me included, who are starting to get into using some machinery now and then. And I was using a mini skid a couple weeks ago. I'm doing some sod. I was on the side of a hill, and this thing started tipping. And luckily, I was able to stop it before it flipped. But I was like, "Holy crap!" I don't know what I would have done if I did flip it. So, what is your advice? And obviously, y'all read your owner's manuals and things like that. This is not, you can't come back to, you can't hold us liable for whatever you do. But just if something happens like this, you flip something, you get in an accident. What are the first steps? Obviously, safety, make sure you're fine, your team members are fine. But then, as far as equipment goes, what are the steps in the process of making sure you do everything you can to keep that equipment in working order?
Yeah, so I've actually never flipped a skid before. I know people do it, quite often. Stuff happens. Obviously, you need to be as careful as you can. I have actually flipped an excavator in the past, just where you get a heavy load and kind of tip you over or whatever. But I was able to, with those, you can kind of push yourself back up with the boom most of the time and get it back up. But the skid steer, I've never flipped one, and I put them in some pretty steep situations and stuff like that. I have a Cat 259D, and it's it's got it holds the ground really well. But we got in a ditch, and it was too steep. I guess there was kind of a hole in the bottom of the ditch, and it got up on its side, and I wasn't expecting it at all. But it rolled up on its side, and I would just say the first thing you need to do is, for sure, obviously, as long as you're okay, the first thing you need to do is cut it off as quick as possible if you do something like that. I'm not a mechanic by any means. I don't know a whole lot about stuff like that. But I just know that, obviously if you roll it, you need to, or flip it, you definitely need to get it cut off as quick as you did. And I did. I cut it off quickly. But it was, thankfully, I was actually at my shop. We have a ditch right outside the fence at my shop. And we should have took care of it earlier, but it got pretty overgrown. So I went to bush hog it, just whatever. And I never had done it and didn't think anything about it at all. And so thankfully I was actually at the shop. The excavator was there, thankfully. And I jumped out of the skid after I cut it off and ran and got it and flipped it back over, and tried to get it, pulled out, but it's kind of stuck in the ditch pretty good. But anyways, yeah, I would say, if you're, as long as you're okay, the best thing you can do is try to just get it back up on its, on the tracks. But what happened, like I said, the oil got in there and it had so much compression, I guess, where it couldn't turn over, and it actually just sheared the gear off in the starter on mine. So not a huge deal. We're gonna get the starter fixed and be back in business. But that was just another thing. I was just rolling on with all the things that had happened here recently. Like I said, we've had a rough go, but things happen.
Yeah, continue on with where you're going. I didn't want to interrupt you. that was a good point of if something does happen, what are just a few steps to make sure and try to handle it the best you can. So. Yeah,
like I said, just do the best you can, I guess. In that situation, it worked out good for me. I was able to get it flipped back over pretty quickly. Within 5 minutes, I was able to run in there and get the excavator out there and flip it back over. But anyways, so that happened, and then the Instagram story that I posted, because I didn't post all that stuff that I just said. I haven't posted that stuff. I don't post a whole lot, but It was a big mistake on my part. I was actually loading the excavator on a trailer at the shop in the morning before we was rolling out, and I was loading the excavator up to take it to the job site, and we were hooked up to the dump truck, and the flatbed, my Chevy 3500, was parked right beside us, and I had forgot I had put the second bucket in the thumb. I had pinched it between the bucket and the thumb. I was taking 2 buckets to the job, so I had the bucket, a bucket just pinched between the bucket that was on the machine and the thumb, and I was swinging around because I pulled up on the trailer with the boom in front of me, and I was swinging the boom back behind me to put, we transport it with the boom in the back near the rear of the trailer, and I was just right beside the truck, and I probably shouldn't have done that anyways in the first place. But when I was lifting the boom up, making sure I was staying out of the way, so I didn't hit the truck with the boom. It was just a dumb mistake on my part. Like I said, I shouldn't have done it. But the bucket fell out, and we didn't have a wreck or anything like that. The bucket fell out and landed right on the front fender of my 3500 and dented it. And after 2 days before was when I flipped the skid steer. So it was just, I was on there kind of letting everybody know because I had a rough go that week, and that was last week, and it was a rough week. So stuff like that happens in business.
Yeah, when it rains, it pours, right? I mean, that's what it comes down to. Good and bad. Like, that's how I've seen it. Like, when it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's bad. And that's just part of being a business, I think. So, well, I think the takeaway from those stories, and you butt in here anytime you want or add to this, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like you can't change what has already happened in the past. You can't rewrite history. If it happened 5 seconds ago or 5 minutes ago or 5 weeks ago, it's history. You can't change it. There's nothing you can do. And so you have to move forward. And that's one thing that I've tried to implement into my life, in all aspects of my life, is like, if something bad happens or something in your marriage is bad or something with the kid goes wrong, like, you physically can't change it. If you're in a bad situation, if you miss a meeting, if you miss a flight, like, there is no point in you getting stressed and letting it ruin the rest of your day, your week, your month, whatever. And that's easier said than done, I know. But I've tried to consciously work on that, and I believe it's really helped me. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I used to get a lot more frustrated and a lot more just really, worked up and stressed out. And, I still do. I still get upset about things, whatever. But I've learned, especially, I haven't been in business that long, but over the last 5 or 6 years, I mean, the more and more stuff and the more people that comes along with growing, the more and more problems happen. So I've just gotten, it's tough sometimes when stuff, especially when it piles up like it did on me last week. It is tough. It's rough, but I've learned to you got to keep your head up. Like in the stories I posted, you got to keep your head up. Like you said, you cannot change it. After I dropped that bucket on the Duramax, I wanted so bad to be able to just go back and change how I did that because it was a dumb mistake. But you can't change it. It happened. Fix the problem. Learn a lesson from it. That's one thing about it. That was a dumb mistake on my part. Just even like flipping the skid steer. I've done a lot of things like that, but it'll just teach me to be a little more careful and look around, look at my surroundings a little better. You learn a lesson from it, and that's one thing. Like I even told one of my employees that was there with me when the bucket fell in the truck. I said, you can guarantee I won't do that again. It's just one of those things. It's a lesson. It's a lesson that you learn, and it stinks that it has to happen that way sometimes. But you got to keep your head up and learn from it, and try not to do it again. But you got to go on because life goes on. You just got to make the best of it. Like you said, there's no reason to get stressed out. Yeah, 100%. And what you just said goes back to what our show was talking about last Friday, and that's exactly what I talked about. Was there's two. I don't know if y'all heard. Did that come through the phone? I don't know if that. I think my phone battery is dying. I don't know what it is.
I didn't hear anything.
Okay, maybe it just was on my end then. But that's exactly what we're talking about. There's only you win and you learn. That's the way that that's kind of a phrase that I've kind of started to think and say and kind of put out there in the ether is you win and you learn. There is no losing unless you don't learn. And so like would you consider it a loss that you dropped a bucket on your truck? Yeah, I mean, surface level, yeah, that's a big loss. Like, that's a big dent. That's a big mess. That's going to be a couple grand to get fixed if you fix it. And so it's like, that's a big loss. But it doesn't have to be. It can actually be a learning experience. And so you're still winning because you're learning. And that is the importance of any mistake, any trial, anything that you go through. You have to better yourself because of it. And you cannot let it define you. Like, you can let it define you in a positive way. You have to take that and turn it into like a better you, create a better version of you. And sometimes it's nice. Like, you wish you would have dropped that bucket 3 feet away from the truck, and then you still might have learned your lesson. You might have, because you would have been like, oh my gosh, if that was 3 feet closer to the truck, like, I'm never doing that again. But sometimes that's just not how you learn. Sometimes the Lord makes us learn the hard way in all areas of life. And when it happens, like, you just have to learn. You have to make sure that you're taking that and just realizing there's a purpose behind it. As bad as it is, as whatever it is, whatever's going on in life. Like, I have tried to take that and implement in my life every single day. So we literally just did a show on Monday. Am I the most unlucky person on planet Earth? That was the title of the show, because me and Savannah were just talking for our marriage Monday of like, I just have terrible luck. Like, I just do. It's just, I always have, always will. I don't know. It just is what it is. Well, Tuesday, when we were recording this podcast, woke up this morning, everything was fine. The box truck went in the shop to get some brakes fixed, and we just put all new brakes on there last year, so the fact that we're having to redo the brakes this year is just ridiculous, but it is what it is. And so box truck's in the shop. We were mowing with my 1500 that I had and pulling the trailer with that. Well, got in this morning, started driving, and there's just ticking noise coming. Definitely wasn't one that I had heard before. It started shaking a little bit. I was like, oh, great, here we go. Took a video of it, ran it by the auto shop that we use, and before that, so the owner and one of their mechanics were standing in the lobby, and I just walked in there. I'm in there all the time, and I was like, here, listen to this and tell me what you think. As soon as they listened to the video, their eyes got so big. Like, they didn't even know what they were like, their eyes got so big, their jaws dropped. They knew exactly what it was. And so according to them, apparently the engine is done, shot, about to blow up, like about to seize up. So that, it's just great. That's how life goes. And you just said you had a box truck engine blow up. But it's how you define that. Like, you didn't let that define your, excuse me. You didn't let that define your business and shut your business down for the year. You said, well, we'll buy a new one and we'll produce, and we keep growing our revenue and we grow our team and we move forward. And I mean, if you don't have that mindset, your business goes under, arguably.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Like you said, I mean, it's a learning lesson, and you can't let it get you down and put you down. You just gotta keep pushing, keep going, learn from them and learn from the mistakes, or even if it's just stuff that happens that you can't control. I'm a Christian. I think sometimes that God allows us to go through things. He allows it to better us, and to, he knows what we can handle, but he allows us to go through things to test us and to see if we can keep our faith in him, for one. And it's just things that's going to strengthen us through those mistakes and faults and stuff will just make us stronger as things go on.
No, you hadn't been praying for patience, have you? That's the number one rule. Like, you don't ever pray, you don't ever ask God for patience, because he will try you.
Have not done that. Yeah. Have not done that. I know that's you don't want to do that.
No.
But I guess I've been getting tested a little bit, but like I said, that's okay. I think sometimes he allows for things to happen, and it's gonna better us in the end.
That's right. That's all how you look at it. It's the outlook you have, the mindset you have with it. And I think that your attitude determines your future. Your friends determine your future. Like, there's so many things that determine your future, and that is just like how you handle lessons and setbacks. That is something that I think will really change. It'll change your life for good or for bad. And you'll either run your business into the ground because you're so like caught up in just like playing poor pitiful me. Everything's going wrong, or you'll push through and grind, and your business will grow huge, and maybe not even grow like this is the next $1 million company, but you will be very just like resilient, and you'll be lean, mean, profitable if you're just running a small company as well. So A lot of good stuff there, man. A lot of good stuff. What are y'all doing to stay? I mean, how are you going to – so this cash flow is hard this time of year. Back in the spring, like you get overloaded with a lot of projects. You got a lot of stuff going on. Cash flow can be a real booger. Having all these expenses, all these repairs go down, that doesn't help. I'm in that situation, been in that situation. So how do you handle cash flow, and especially like when it comes to getting these repairs and things like that? How do you handle it with these bigger jobs you're doing and things?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I've not been the best at keeping up with cash flow, and our biggest thing is, the jobs have stayed strong. We've stayed busy, and I think we stayed, pretty profitable also. But the big thing with us for cash flow is obviously, like I went out and bought that second box truck, and I actually did. I didn't finance it. I paid for it. And so obviously that hurts cash flow when you do that. And then payroll comes, and I have 5 guys. So, it's just like we bought the box truck, payroll hit. And then, it was just like, man, it does get rough. And the thing is we have we have money coming in a lot of times, but we don't have it yet. It's like we have, money, and, a lot of times, a lot of jobs, a lot of the bigger jobs, they're for residential clients, and we'll get paid right upon completion. But there's times, we work with builders some, and just different people, and you might not get a check for a month, and sometimes even bigger checks, and that really will hurt you. I've learned, I have made the mistake for sure of not getting deposits on some jobs, just being, we'll do a contract still, but we'll just do, if it's not nothing too crazy, we'll just, we'll do the whole thing upon completion. And they obviously sign a contract and stuff. That's still dangerous. I shouldn't do that. And that's something that I've tried to learn from. But that'll hurt cash flow too. You'll be buying all materials out of your pocket. And then, especially like if you're not getting checks, and then you just bought, how much ever in materials, and then it's just like, and then payroll hits, and cash flow will hurt, if you're not managing things correctly. So I would definitely say for cash flow, you just need to, for sure get your deposits and stuff like that. And then just try to manage to getting paid. Obviously, we use the CRM and get paid through that a lot now. And that's helped a ton. People pay way faster. So that's one good thing. And then, get your deposits, and also, try to not allow people to push out payments so long. Try to make sure, you invoice and put on there, do upon completion, or, net 15 or something, obviously there's some commercial projects where you're not going to get paid. That's how the companies are structured. You're not going to get paid fast, but, just, do whatever you can like that to make sure cash flow stays up. Because when things do go wrong and you have to make that purchase, like I did, bought the box truck, and that hurts cash and a lot. And when you do things like that, it's rough, but you just got to manage it. And like I said, I definitely made some mistakes, and we've had some top moments for sure with having with buying new things like that. And then, but I would just say, try to stay up on getting paid, and that's the big thing, because that's where it hurt us. A lot of times we'll have the money, but it's just not with us yet. We haven't got our check, so
yep.
Make sure you're getting paid on time as much as possible, and that definitely helps cash flow. And and obviously make sure you got to stay selling, obviously. So if work gets slow and you still got guys on payroll, but thankfully we've not had too much of that issue.
What do you do in the wintertime with your guys? Do you lay them off? Do you keep them on full time? A little bit of both. How does that work?
Yeah, I've always actually kept them all on. We do get slower, and I tell the guys basically, like, look, I want to keep you on full time. We're going to try to give you at least 25 to 30 hours a week minimum. And then a lot of weeks it's more than that. And we don't really get slow here till January. And I know you're even further south than us, but we don't really get slow till January. We have a lot of leaves here. So the maintenance crew does leaves. Maintenance crew does leaves all the way till Christmas, and then and then the install guys. I mean, we book projects all year, so like the install guys, we don't really ever get too slow. I mean, we definitely the phone calls slow down, but we normally, I mean, in the past, I don't know how this year goes. I hope and pray it goes the same, but in the past we've booked up projects in the fall that'll carry us through the winter, and even still book some projects and stuff in the winter too that'll keep us going. And then We definitely, are not as profitable in the winter because a lot of times I'll try to keep guys on, and I'll bring the maintenance guys over just to help us if they're they're slow and don't have much maintenance work to help us on projects, and we'll keep our guys on because I want to keep the guys on for sure, especially if they're good. I want to do what I can to keep them on, and they may get a little bit less hours in the winter sometimes, but we definitely still have 40-hour weeks some too, but they definitely are making up for it this time of year. We're pretty much always working a little bit of overtime through spring and summer. So
speak to us, back to the cash flow real fast. Speak to us, Mo guys, and give some insight really quickly, some rough numbers. What does material like purchasing, everything you need for like a 20 by 20, just level square patio, like just a simple hardscape, 10 by 10. I don't care whatever size you want to make it, but like you talk about ordering materials and things like that. Are you looking like $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 or something like that you could be just like eating your cash flow, like just taking liquid cash out of your bank?
Yeah, I mean, not for something like that. Like if you were to say you did a 20 by 20 paver patio, no, materials aren't going to be near that high. I mean, you're going to have at least $2,000 to $3,000 for sure come out. We've had projects that are a little bigger where we do, we'll have pavers and we'll have plants that, we'll do
plants.
$3,000
plants
in plants
is what
sometimes.
Get you. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So there's projects where we've ended up spending $10,000 before on materials before the job even really got going. So, I mean, that does happen. And, like I said, in that situation, you definitely need to do, get deposits and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, just if you were to do a 20 by 20 patio, I mean, we normally use Teco block and, I don't know, that's 400 square feet. That's probably, $2,500, maybe $3,000, something like that. So it's not as bad if it's just something like that, but we've done some bigger projects where we do, plants and, patios and just different parts of the landscape, mulch and different things like that all adds up. And then you end up getting up there and material. And if you don't get a deposit on that, that definitely would wreck your, cash flow pretty bad. So, that's definitely deposit would be a big thing on that.
Yeah, no, that's huge. I'm a big fan of like keeping cash flow in check because if you don't, then another thing, run your business into the ground really quickly. And so glad to hear you talk about that and hitting on that as well. Well, dude, is there anything else that we're missing that you want to hit on or leave out or that we have left out? I don't want to miss anything, but is there, like I said, any words of advice or things or whatever you want to say here as we wrap up the show? We're 45 minutes. We're doing this late night. I don't want to hold you much longer, but I know life is crazy. Life is busy. Good things happen, bad things happen, and it sounds like you're going through just one of those seasons of just struggle, and it sounds like you're keeping a great attitude, though, and surrounding yourself with good people, which is awesome to hear. Is there anything that we're missing that you want to leave with everybody?
I don't really think there's anything missing. I would just say one more time, bad times, bad things happen, and it feels sometimes like you're alone. That's one good, I'm glad you're doing this podcast. Something to tell everybody else. And, sometimes Instagram can be, and, that's where everybody's on Instagram. And there's guys that do get on there and speak, about the bad times, but, and that's good because, you just need to be real with people. I would just say, things are going to happen, but, it's not discouraging you to not go there, even not to be in business or whatever. That's not to say that, but it's just to let you know, like, it's not always going to be perfect, but you have to keep your head up, keep pushing. Don't let it get you down. Don't let it defeat you. So
I love it, dude. Keep grinding.
Yep. I would just say that. Keep your head up. Keep grinding. We can have afflictions, but, afflictions in this, but don't let it defeat you.
That's right. Don't let it determine where your outcome is. That's good. That's good stuff right there. I don't even know that I can add much to that. Tell you what, man, I know you're not you're not on socials every single day. You're working, you're grinding, you're hustling, growing your company. But where can everybody find you if they do want to ask you a question, keep up with you, see what's going on in your world?
Yeah, man, Sawyer Landscaping on Instagram, Facebook. I don't do anything else really. Instagram mainly. I guess if anybody wanted to reach out, I am on there some. Like I said, don't post a ton, but yep, Sawyer Landscaping.
Are you going to be at Equip this year? Maybe.
Yeah, I am actually. And I'm
awesome.
Planning to maybe, I'm going and I'm going to actually bring one of my lead guys this year. Never took any of my guys. I'm going to bring him. He's on the install side. He's actually a guy that I've started, on the days that I don't work in the field. He's kind of running the job. So I'm going to bring him this year. He's really excited, and we may even actually, I don't know if you heard, but Mike Andes is doing his event there in Louisville this year.
Yeah.
And I think we may even try to get to that too. So we'll just be in Louisville all week long that week.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Just shut production down and say, hey, let's go. Let's just take some time for the company, and that's awesome. I think that's a huge thing for guys. Like, we're going to do an equip show coming up soon, but taking your lead guys especially, is a huge just like benefit. It's just like a morale boost. I feel like team building thing, like, makes them feel important, makes them feel like you want them here and around and to grow and learn. So that's awesome, dude. I'm looking forward to seeing you there and having the guys come along as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a good time.
Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate it so much, you coming on, spending your evening with us tonight. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into the show today. It means the world that y'all listen. Like, I say that, but I don't just say it to say it. Like, it really does. Like, it touches my heart every message that we get, every time that I get on and somebody shares the show. It's like, that's what it's about. And so thank you so much for doing that, helping us just come along so we can put out shows 3 times a week, so we can continue to go the community one relationship at a time. Together in Trades is just 3 weeks away now. We're coming rapidly, and so we look forward to seeing everybody there. And then I think the next event would be Equip in October. So got a busy summer ahead. We're not even halfway through yet, but hey, we're hustling. Longest day of the year is already come and gone. So you got to start getting in while you can. But Greyson, thank you so much for coming on tonight, man. I really appreciate your time.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, man.
Absolutely, dude. Well, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. If you would, share the show. That really helps us. But without any further ado, that's going to wrap this episode up. And we look forward to catching up with everybody here on the next one.
Thanks for tuning in to the Growing Green podcast. It is an honor to have you listening, and we hope you receive valuable advice to help take your business to the next level. Don't forget to follow the podcast so you'll be notified when our next episode drops.